I want to start with the first question, and go ahead, you guys be writing in. We want to hear from you. I was wondering if there was ever a time that telehealth would not be recommended for ABA. I have one client who is having a lot of difficulty focusing and responding to instructions over the screen. Parents are not available to join the session. Is it better to keep doing sessions and focusing on only one goal, for example? Or would it be more beneficial to take a break for now? Thank you so much for a great show. And thank you for that great question. Maybe we should start with, there are people who don't know what telehealth for ABA looks like. And some people don't know that that is available to almost everyone who gets ABA services. It's not everyone, but almost everyone. So Evelyn, do you want to tell them a little bit about what it looks like?
Yeah, sure. So telehealth is so new to all of us. In this new COVID environment, we've all had to adapt very quickly. There's people at CARD, including myself, who have done telehealth sessions previous to this time. It's usually for people who were in different countries. And, they wanted some, either to continue a service because somebody moved back to the US or some other process, or for like myself, I would travel and then they would want me to see, and, I'd do some probing. So we had a little bit of experience, but we hadn't had a lot. But with COVID-19 and all the majority of the insurers being willing to fund this, we actually had to, jumpstart and really get this together, because this is considered a medically necessary treatment. And if the kids don't get it, there is going to be a consequence. Whether you see it now or you see it later, there is going to be a consequence. And it's been long enough now where I've actually been able to see what's happened to some of the kids who haven't received services, or who have received much fewer decrease in services. And so in my opinion, I think that if you can get a child to do any task via telehealth, you're going to try. Okay. The ones that we've recommended not are the ones who engage in severe challenging behaviors. If there's severe aggression and they're going to throw the computer at someone, probably not. But for the most part, if the child's able to sit there and be compliant enough, if their attention isn't going away and they can't focus, start small. Use your ABA techniques. What you do is you start with one simple task. You start for a short time period and you build one task, then you build another and you chain it together and you start to shape the behavior of the child. You move around your reinforcement to figure out what is really needed to get the child to understand or get the child to sit there, and you build upon it. And we've been very successful. Initially, we tell families, try a 30-minute session, see how much you can get done. And if necessary, you can back up to a 15-minute session, and then 30 and an hour and 2 hours. 3-hour sessions are hard, I think, via video, but I think that a lot of times it can be done if you give them a little break in between. There's a lot of kids who they don't pay attention and it's really hard for them to focus. So you're not able to do every task that might be in their treatment plan, but you're able to do a lot. And a lot of it has to do with communication and with like the nonverbal cues people give. And because we are in this environment now where, video is the life of video, telehealth is somewhat, or telecommunication is a method of communication between, a lot of younger folks. Teenagers right now with COVID are hanging out on Zoom and watching movies together. So it's a great place to start to build, because this is going to be a communication source of the future. It is now, but may not be for the rest of us that didn't have this growing up. So for me, if you can get something done, keep trying, but just be very methodical. Use all your behavior analytics skills in terms of breaking down a behavior and then chaining things together and shaping the other child's behavior also.
Thank you so much for that. I have been always in awe of CARD in the way that they have been able to present different modalities of ABA. I had the benefit of having wonderful therapists in my home. It was before there was center-based, right? And I heard the stories of the families and met some of the families who were having services in South Africa and in Dubai and France and China and everywhere around the world, and heard about how they were conferencing, on the phone, and then later when there was Skype. I mean, I was just absolutely amazed and thrilled to hear the stories of the kids who were doing well. And I've always loved that CARD has been so flexible to meet each individual where they need to be met and to overcome difficulties. So when this all started to happen, it did not surprise me, but I was so proud of the response from CARD and the continued response from CARD. And I just want to say that, one of the things that that CARD has done, they don't have just one mode of telehealth. They have 3 different modes of telehealth, depending on how much support the kids need. And what I hear in that question is that the parents aren't available. And I know that that is a circumstance in many families, because many people like us are working, and so it becomes a really difficult thing. But I would urge the parent to find time, whether it's during a lunch break, and I realize what I'm asking, because I know how hard it has been for me doing all, I have a husband who does help. I don't want to make it sound like he doesn't help, but I'm doing all of the ordering of the groceries. I'm doing a lot of the cooking, at least at night. He does it during the day. There's stuff to be done around the house. I mean, like, it isn't, I think that some people just think that this is a big vacation for everybody. And especially if you're working, it is no kind of vacation I ever want to take in my life. And then to be a person helping to facilitate your child's ABA, I appreciate that I'm asking for a big thing, but I would go back to the parents and say, I realize that you're not available during the hours we may have scheduled for this, but is there another time that you could be available? Because my thing to parents, and I really was, last night, Evelyn, I really, we got news last night here in Los Angeles County that we're all going to be asked to shelter in place for 3 more months. And it was a swift intake of breath for everyone to hear that. But a couple of, about a month ago, my son and I made a video, and I kind of have sat on it, but I can no longer sit on it. And it's a video in which we urge families, please, I'm begging you to try telehealth, and please participate in it. I feel like I do know what I'm asking and how hard that will be, but you're gonna have to trust me. The benefits so outweigh any negative, that when this is all over and said and done, I want for you to be able to have a better relationship with your child, and for your child to have a better relationship with the world. And if we are going to stay in some places sheltering in place for this many more months, you have to find the way that you can keep ABA therapy going. And if the only way you have is telehealth, I'm just going to beg you to please grab it with both hands and hang on tight. And what I hear from families, the parents who are doing this for however many hours that they're doing, they're saying, I am learning so much.
Yeah. 2
parents that said to me, I didn't know that this is what I have needed all along. Because the therapist, you're there, with the computer, and the therapist is on the computer telling you exactly what to do. You don't have to know it. You don't have to think it through. You don't have to plan. They're going to talk you through the thing. Parents, please, I beg you, put this, please.
Yes. So we've had parents just amazed, They were the families. So we have at CARD, we have a lot of center-based services. And that's been great because we can really focus on the kids in this environment, and generalizing to home, is a part of it. But there are families who have basically taken the center-based as a place to drop my child off so I don't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So many of those families now that they've had to be a part of this telehealth, they're like, this is amazing. We can do this at home. And it's just, even though they've been there and they've been participating, it wasn't the same thing because they just didn't realize how much their child could do at home.
Yeah. I'm an allergy woman. And so imagine, when your child is learning a language at school, and they're learning Spanish at school, and they come home and they're telling you the words that they said at school, you might pick up 3 words, right? But if you had to go to Spain with your child, you would come back with a different level of fluency. And it would be very good for you. And, none of us chose this path. But if you have a child who is on Autism Avenue, this is an opportunity for you to go there with them. And I won't lie to you. I mean, it's not like it's super, super easy, but I will tell you, and, write back to me if I'm wrong. It will end up being the most rewarding thing you ever do.
And
just saying.
Yeah. And I'm going to go the other end now, which I don't usually like to do. But earlier I mentioned that we've been out of therapy long enough now. We've been sheltered at home for quite a few weeks now. And I am seeing that the kids, autism, one of the innate things is the kids want to be alone. And and in some ways, this shelter in place is really and reinforcing that. So I am actually afraid that at some point when we try to take the kids out again, there will be a group of kids who won't want to go out and who used to do great, going everywhere and doing school, but it is going to reinforce some of those things where they don't want to be doing things that they haven't had to do in quite a few months. And, some families have actually called me and said, everything that you told us not to do, it's happening because they can't go out, they can't get exposed to people, they're not forced to interact with anyone, where they really have to on a consistent basis. All these things are gone, but telehealth is like the one stream where even if your child doesn't, has that inclination to not want to interact with people or to go that way of not interacting where they have in the past, that having that exposure, even if it's 1 hour at a time, it's keeping that generalization going of, yes, there are other people out there that I need to interact with, not just my home and family, because I have had families actually call and say, hey, we're thinking about ending services now because he's doing so well over this break. And I'm on the other end saying, but there's nothing that's forcing him to change because he knows how to talk to mom and dad and siblings and knows how to be at home. It's good. The question is what's going to happen later when you start to say you have to go interact with kids who are really spontaneous and, other people out there. That is something that's going to be a question for a lot of people.
Yeah. I just keep putting it very plainly to people and saying, look, when this is over, there's only 3 options. Right? Your child will have progressed, your child will have stayed the same, or your child will have regressed. Those are the 3 options, right? And if you are not doing regular ABA, it's 100% for sure your child will have regressed. Now you'll have to make up all that your child was behind before, plus the time that they missed, plus the time that they regressed. It like gives me like a chokehold around the neck. If your child at least maintains, you've got a place to continue to grow from. And if your child progresses, woohoo, right? So we are seeing with telehealth that in the beginning, the goal is to maintain, right? But we are seeing that some children have gotten comfortable enough with the telehealth that they are progressing. But if you don't do anything, you definitely, there's no doubt about it. Scientifically, we know that the children will regress and we're already seeing it and you're seeing it. I know you guys get it. So I'm just saying, pick the things to do so that you're at least maintaining and hopefully getting to the progress, because that's the name of the game.
Hey, thanks for watching Autism Live. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.